Hey, what's up, folks? KL Smith here with episode number 12 of the MDRN Future Podcast. Today, we are talking about a couple different topics. We're going to talk about Tesla, we're going to talk about Apple, we're going to talk about Jupe, something a little different. And then we're going to hit my 2021 sneaker purchase list. I made a list at the beginning of last year. So this will be the second time I've officially published a public sneaker purchase list. So I'm looking forward to talking about that. But let's dive right in. Let's get right into this so we can move along with today's podcast. So today with Tesla, I want to say 3 weeks ago, we posted episode 11 and Tesla. And one of the things that I mentioned in that, they were getting ready for this Q4 push, this big push to hit 500,000 deliveries. And I wouldn't say I was skeptical. I just had my doubts that they would hit it. I don't even know if I gave an official number on last episode, but I thought they would hit like 497, 498, something like that. So I felt pretty good about my prediction. I talked to my brother about this separately, and we'll get to it here. But they did a pretty good job. So I was impressed with that. So let's go ahead and jump into some things. This is on the MDRN Future website. Just helps me keep track of what I'm talking about for the day. So the first bit is the other automotive companies are using Tesla's Supercharger network. This was one in a response to none other than MKBHD, obviously. Elon Musk stated that other automotive companies are low-key using their Supercharger network. And this is one that, I just don't understand. I mean, I kind of do, because I think other legacy automotives, or any other automotive company, doesn't want to further legitimize Tesla's lead in EVs by basically validating, like, yeah, you guys are right, Supercharger network is the way to go, we're going to hop on board and use it. I just think people, legacy automakers specifically, are being stubborn about it. But it's clear, according to Elon, that maybe some folks are using it. And, with those adapters, I want to say they just now are starting to come to the US, but with some of those charger adapters, we might just see folks that are just have EVs that aren't Teslas. I don't know why that would be a thing. They just, charge into they buy the adapter and then they charge at a supercharging network. I don't know how they will be charged for that. I got to figure that one out, but that seems like a possibility. I know that's a thing in Europe, and again, I'm not exactly sure how that all works, but this seems very plausible. Now, again, the deals that would likely line up here are if some automotive, let's say Toyota, for example, they come with their solid state battery, and they're way behind because their CEO doesn't believe in EVs. But they come in and they're like, okay, we're way behind. We got to catch up. Let's sign a deal. I think that's what's likely to happen for some folks that end up behind, say 2024, 2025 time window, when it's likely we would see maybe the first solid state battery vehicle. But I don't know of any major deals maybe we'll see a few here soon. The one that seems most likely based on their kind of bro relationship is Volkswagen. Herbert Diess and Elon seem like they're buddy. So that could be a possibility. I don't know. But it's out there. So next up, full self-driving coming on a subscription. This was one where I'm very, very vested and interested in this, because some of the limitations with full self-driving purchasing, not the service, but purchasing, is very evident. And in this tweet that Elon responds to, one of the issues is if you lease a Tesla, why would you buy the full self-driving. It's on a lease. Like you're probably thinking about getting a new one, in which case ownership, and this is where it comes in, ownership of full self-driving doesn't transfer to a new vehicle, which is like mind-boggling to me, especially considering they now have four cars that you can get. So it just seems like that's a bit of an oversight. And I'm interested in this because I have a Cybertruck reserved, and I've yet to make the plunge on full self-driving with my Model 3, knowing that it doesn't transfer over to the Cybertruck. I figured my family would ultimately convert over to EVs, and so I've kind of just been waiting, biding my time. Meanwhile, the price continues to go up. But the subscription service makes it, at least for me, more appealing for my Model 3 to go, okay, I'm gonna try this out. If we try it out and I like it, maybe we'll purchase it for both vehicles, or maybe we'll just get it on the Cybertruck when we get it, keep the subscription going on the Model 3. Not 100% sure on how that would play out, but this is another vector where they will have a recurring revenue coming in for their services, which, based on what they're offering, continues to expand at a rate that has me pretty optimistic about where they're heading. The next up, deliveries. I talked about this at the top of the show. Tesla delivered 499,550 EVs in 2020, which is a new record. And they released the news. I'm not going to, well, let's go and look at it. We can look at it. They released the news over the weekend, January 2nd. It is the 4th when I'm recording this. Hopefully we'll get it posted today. We'll see. But the Model S, Model X, you see 16,000 production, 18,920 deliveries. Model 3, Model Y, 163,660 deliveries, 161,650. This is a new record. That 180,570 is a new record for deliveries in Q4. It's a new record, obviously, for the year for them. And what I find most gratifying and satisfying about this is that, one, they defied all of the analysts who said that, I think the consensus was like 481 or something like that. It was 480. I can't remember the exact number. 480,000 vehicles would be delivered. And Tesla dang near hit 500,000, which was their stated goal for the year. So, and this is despite, which I have an article, COVID-19 shutdowns in March and April, I want to say. So if you factor in, then it's probably a couple thousand, reasonable thousand, maybe 10, 15,000 vehicles that could have been delivered in that window that just weren't because the factory shut down, none were being produced. And so when you factor in COVID, they're hitting maybe like 515, which beats their estimate. So man, it's hard not to look at them very seriously on the estimates that they're providing and the demand that they're seeing, and going, okay, actually I need to stop, criticizing and I'm not criticizing, that's the wrong word, undermining and not believing in the vision that they have for the company, which is what we see a lot from critics and some analysts. Now, other thing I want to hit is the Tesla Model S refresh. This has been cited here recently, basically over the weekend. Got some sightings. Now, if you remember, I want to say shortly after I posted episode 11, that sounds about right, because it was 17 or 18 days that the Model S and X were not part of production. They just halted all production on the Model S and Model X for a refresh. And now we believe there are sightings of the refreshed model out in Palo Alto. So I'm assuming this is Plaid, which is supposed to be awesome. I don't know obviously none of us know the interior details of this refresh, but considering that we've seen some refresh designs for the Model Y out of China and little subtle changes and things on like the 3 and whatnot the last basically month and a half or so, it wouldn't surprise me if the interior has changed as well, and the Plaid motor is up in that biche. So I'm looking forward to that. And then the last thing I want to hit, which I've hit every time, now, the last couple of weeks that I've done this, is Tesla stock is at a new all-time high. Every single time I do a show that has Tesla, we're talking about a new all-time stock high. And I'm a Tesla shareholder, so I'm long on Tesla. This is not advice. I'm not offering any type of advice. I'm just saying that it's happening. It continues, again, to defy a lot of the critics and analysts, and they're hitting projections, and they have a business model that we're going to talk about when we get to the Apple segment of this, which is coming up, that I think is just killer and makes it so that the writing is on the wall. If you don't believe me, again, this Apple argument that we're going to talk about, the writing is on the wall, y'all. Got it? You got to see it. Now, the next thing I want to touch on is just GM. I saw not too long ago that the Hummer EV edition, which we talked about in a previous episode and a separate video, has 10,000 plus pre-orders according to the Detroit Free Press. They released that article, I don't know the exact date. Let's see the exact date. December 15th. That's a couple days after episode number 11, which you guys can go back and watch. That was, I'd say it is expected. 10,000 is relatively low number of pre-orders. Seems like they would hit it. The real key with this, and again, you guys are going to see it. You're going to see it firsthand because the media, the press, mainstream media always does this. They'll talk about, oh man, the sales were so great out of the gates. Oh, they're so good. It dominated, especially critics. They dominated Tesla. And it's like, yo, they have pent up demand. Let's see how, once they start actually producing these, let's see if demand continues to stay elevated or if it's just pent up demand. And then after that initial demand is basically fulfilled, if it depletes. That's the key that you have to look at with something like the Hummer EV. I think that the Hummer is going to maintain a pretty decent clip. It's an iconic vehicle for, I would say, all the wrong reasons, but I think it had, again, based on, if you've watched my previous video, based off of some of my beliefs, it had a kind of zeitgeist moment in mainstream culture, and I feel like GM picked the right vehicle to electrify. I don't feel the same way about Ford and the Mustang, but I do think the Mach-E is a pretty solid vehicle from what I'm seeing. I just don't think that namesake is the right one for them to choose. I do feel like the Hummer is like kind of like, oh man, you guys took the biggest gas guzzling piece of hunk out there vehicle and you turned it into an EV. That's like a redemption story, right? So it's a little bit different context, and I think Hummer or GM did the right thing with the Hummer in choosing it. It's just a matter of whether or not people are going to dig this or they're going to go for the cheaper, $50,000 cheaper Cybertruck. I think they're going to go for the Cybertruck. That's just me. Maybe I'm biased because I have one on a reservation, but that's what I think is going to happen. They do got LeBron James though. So yeah, that's GM. I just wanted to cover that really quickly. And they're evaluating if they are going to make more. So hopping over to a topic that is the main juice of this, the juicy, meaty segment of this, maybe not as meaty as Tesla, but Apple. Now, while we were on holiday break, Reuters released a pretty interesting report, basically saying that the company, Apple, is going to release a self-driving vehicle. They have this breakthrough battery technology. And what I decided to do is, and you guys can check out the article, I'm not going to go through the article because it's just basically my thoughts here. But my feelings on this are that if Apple is entering the electric vehicle race, and I've seen a lot of discussion on YouTube that's been like, oh, Apple's entering the race, they're coming for Tesla, or it's over for Tesla. I can't stand that rhetoric. But my take on this is that if Apple enters this, doesn't it further legitimize what Tesla is doing? Like, doesn't that make you go, oh shit, what Tesla was doing was right all along? Why didn't I see this? Because I was I was blind to maybe I needed Apple to see, to see the light. Like if you look at what the next frontier is for the next gold mine, right? I'm in game dev. So when you look at applications and the gold mine that was brought about when the App Store came to fruition through smartphones, it is a logical, very logical and plausible reality that the next app gold mine, the next big money maker is applications through your vehicle. And the reason is self-driving. It is so crucial if you do not understand this, that self-driving will propel either your efficiency in your vehicle or your entertainment in the vehicle, because you're not going to be driving. You're just going to be sitting in your commute, 3-hour commute for some folks, maybe less, 45 minutes for others. You're going to be sitting in your vehicle. You're going to put in your destination. And for most of us, maybe 20, 30 minutes while you go to work, you're not going to be doing anything. You don't have to pay attention to anything. Think about that as the future. So what does that mean? That means that apps, entertainment, productivity, all the things that you would do while you're at home on your computer or on your phone, that you can now do in your car. That's like, once you have that realization, you go, oh shit, well, Tesla is way ahead. They got self-driving with millions of miles of AI training. They have an entertainment system that has apps, games, all of those things, and it's already there. And so when Apple says that, hey, we're entering or potentially rumored that they're entering the field, you think about their business. Their business went bonkers with the App Store. Guys, it's so clear. So if you are a developer, you got to be licking your chops. You got to be licking your chops to get into Tesla. And if Apple comes along, you're probably going to be licking your chops to get in on a Apple app, whatever, app store for the vehicle, right? So both of those things, Tesla and Apple, is like a gold mine for game developers or entertainment developers or productivity software developers, whoever it is. And when you talk about the software engineer side, there's actually none better in the game than Tesla and Apple. Google is up there, Microsoft, right? And so that makes me really concerned for legacy automakers in the next 15, 20 years, because all of the current best software engineers are going to Tesla, Apple, Google, Microsoft. Like, they're going to tech companies. They don't give a rat's ass about Subaru or GM or Ford or Toyota or any of those, right? Like, nobody's talking about that because they're not really thinking about the future of what automotive is going to be. And so that is really once you have that realization that that's coming, you go, oh man, well, Apple coming into here makes Tesla's business even better, or at least it should look better to you, because that's exactly what Apple did with the smartphone, right? They put out a brand new product that was unlike anything we had really ever seen. They had apps on there that were different from anything we'd ever seen. And all of a sudden it turned into a booming business. Now, this makes me think about what legacy auto is likely to do. Who's the player then that is coming in to swoop in and save legacy auto with the software side? We're already seeing this play out. It's Google and Android Auto. You can say NVIDIA, maybe they're helping as well. You got some Unreal Engine stuff in there with software. But really, Android Auto is the play for legacy auto. Now, here's the catch. How does a software, in this case, the legacy auto, how do they make money off of Android Auto's Android store? Think about that for a little bit. Are they taking like a 5% cut of the 25% cut of, or 30% cut that goes to Google? So Google's taking 25, the software or the automotive company is taking 5%, and then the app developer is taking 70%. I mean, look, like what are the economics behind if Android is the Play Store for auto? I don't know, and I damn sure better find out from legacy automakers. I mean, if you're an investor, or if you care about those business parameters, business goals for those companies, how are they making money off of software? I mean, that's a legitimate question. I would be really curious if they don't own the store and they don't own the software, and they're not building software that's going to be as good as Apple or as good as Tesla. You'll do the same thing that people do now. Like you go, oh, I'm either going to get an iPhone or I'm going to get some other Google Android thing, probably a Samsung phone, which is the number 2 player. And those are the 2 phones you're going to use. Everybody else is like fighting for scraps. And if everybody else is fighting for scraps, that means some legacy auto folks are going to get yaxed. They're going to be like Nokia, right? Like big company, all of a sudden they're a small company. So, I mean, look, a lot of the sales are from the vehicle, no doubt. But if people care about the software in the car and not the vehicle, oh, it's not looking good. So again, I really want people to think about that. That's one of the epiphanies I had a long time ago. I brought it up multiple times now on the podcast. I think my brother and I went into an extensive discussion about this previously, just talking about the software side of this, about what it means for Tesla. But Apple entering the discussion, I think that really opens people's eyes to like, okay, what's Apple's business model? Oh, they make a lot of money on the App Store. Well, how would they make, if they want to do self-driving, which was the main title of the Reuters article, self-driving means that you're not doing anything, right? Like the AI is driving and you get to just sit around. So if that's the future, that means that they're banking on business being apps. So something to think about. I hope that one really resonates with you and that you sit with that for a little bit. Now, let's move on to topic numero, what's this, 3, 4? I can maybe consider GM. A topic, we got Jupe. Now, Jupe is a dwelling unit. They're a company that got on my radar. You know, with the Cybertruck, my wife and I have been talking about going camping more. And it's not like we could do it now. We have an SUV with a Subaru Ascent that we can't wait to replace. It's nice and hefty, but we have 3 kids. And we've been talking about 2 versions of kind of camping. One is where, you know, you just go camping for a weekend and bring a tent, something like that. And none of us really like that idea. And my girls don't, especially. I have 3 girls. None of them really want to do that. And I'm not big on camping. I'm not really an outdoors guy per se. More in my youth, and that was like sports related, not camping. But it's something that my wife and I have really talked about, and she's into outdoors much more so than I think anyone in the family currently is. We'll see about the 2 youngest ones, but we talked about how a truck would change how we think about that. A big truck, one where we could pack all the kids in the back and have just a huge bed to carry stuff. And so one of the things that we talked about was doing a summer road trip. So I'm hoping that I get my Tesla Cybertruck sometime in late 2021. Maybe I'm a pretty early reserver, or maybe first half of 2022, which means that for the summer, or maybe even late fall before my oldest goes back to school, we can get in a camping trip. That's like pie in the sky dream of mine. And so we've been talking about the different options. You know, you get a tent, you can potentially get a tiny home, get an RV or something like that. And we've been talking more and more about a tiny home. And you know, I've checked them out quite a bit. And you know, separately, I have a business venture interest in tiny homes, but so I'm really well enamored with them right now. But I've been looking at various types that could be hauled by a truck that would have like quick setup to, your water if you were to go at a camping site. And while I was searching during break, a company called Jupe, well, I think that's the name of the company, came on my radar. And I want to show you guys this because I thought it was pretty cool. Now, this is on the Modern Future website. I wrote very briefly about it, but it's like a tent. It's not quite a tiny home. They call it a tiny house, but it's really a dwelling unit. It's like a tent. It's like a glorified tent, more or less. And this was one that I thought was like, okay, well, maybe this is like a weekend getaway. Now, the downside of this is that, again, it's only 111 square feet and there's no bathrooms. So it's like 3 girls, no bathrooms, little kids running around. Probably not. Me and my wife? Oh, yeah, we could probably do that. So this is just one that I wanted to share with you guys because I thought it looked so cool, especially this photo here, this top one. I thought it looked really cool, and it had like this futuristic vibe, which gave me, super Cybertruck vibes going on. But I was drawn to it because of the aesthetic of this image and another one that I saw. And this is the interior. Just some quick notes. It's has solar panels, comes with solar panels, a 200 amp hour battery system, Wi-Fi router, dimmable LED lights, power for 4 electrical outlets, USB charging stations, and a Sonos speaker with Alexa. It's a lot of stuff, right? The canvases that you're seeing, what this is constructed is fire resistant, and I think we're on the top picture here. These are aluminum mast, basically bars, I'm assuming, that you construct this. And then the whole system can be flat packed, basically, and hauled for easy transport. Now, I don't know the exact parameters of how big it is, if it could fit in the back of a truck. I'm assuming it can. And if not, you could probably put it on like a small attachment for like a haul, a U-Haul attachment or something like that. And take it with you. I didn't put it on that, but I think it would fit in the bed based off of this image and how it can be packed. Now, it also has 38 cubic feet of space and these like wood storage units here, which is like, it's basically the floor. That's what is it? Baltic birch wood, I want to say. I don't remember where I put that in the article, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, there, Baltic birch wood. So look, it looks pretty nice. I don't think it would be, reasonable for an extended trip, which, we were talking about like weeks, a couple weeks out, adventuring around different campsites, just kind of roaming different states and seeing how that goes. But it's certainly plausible for like a weekend getaway. Hey, grandparents, wife and I are going to go on a little adventure excursion, weekend getaway. Can you take the kids? That's what I was thinking about for this. But, it's unlikely that would happen because my wife is more about the whole family going. So if we're going to spend this money, which you can get a pre-order for $99 here, and then the final price is $17,500 for a glorified tent. I know. Hold on. I know. Some of y'all are like, what? $17,500 for a tent? Oh, you crazy, boy. You crazy. But I thought it looked cool, right? So, a tiny home is probably going to be more expensive than that, suspect. So we'll see. We'll see what the future holds for that. But I wanted to show you guys because it is something that the adventure side of the Smith family has been thinking about. And I think we're all pretty excited to start adventuring out for summer times. And I don't know, just going around visiting different states in the U.S. All right, where are we? We are 30 minutes in, and we get to look at the 2021 sneaker purchase list. Now, again, the first one I put together was in 2020. I did a sneaker haul recap, talked about that a little bit, about what I was able to get, how things changed about the year. I think that, 2020, Kobe passing, and then COVID, and then just thinking about the significance of the year just changed around some of my wants for the year for sneakers. I ended up purchasing way more than I thought I would, and last year was more significant because you just couldn't you couldn't just go out and go get sneakers. So it made it online sneaker shopping a lot more prevalent. And you could go out, but I play it safe. Right? My wife was pregnant for half the year. Then I had a newborn. I'm not going out. I'm chilling. So 2021 sneaker purchase list. Let's take a look at this bad boy. And you guys can read about why I'm doing each of these if you want to on the site. But the first one up is the Kobe 6 Protro. I have not been able to get this. I've been trying to get I don't remember the last time I bought Kobe's. I had to be in high school, 2000. It would have been like around when Shaq and Kobe won it. So we're talking early 2000s. I had Kobe's, and then there was a period, I want to say, and those were Adidas. There was a period where he did not sign. I want to say that was 03. But he was wearing J's at the time. I don't remember exactly. This is like reaching back in the depths. That was like, I was into sneakers for a little while, and then there's this whole gap where I was like starting my adulting, and I just lost it, and now I'm back into sneakers. So I've been trying to get some Kobe 6 Protros. The Grinches, no go. I might go for them for resale. Just depends. We'll see. But the Kobe 6 Protro Black Del Sol, I saw those. I was like, ooh, those are the ones in the bottom next to the Grinches there. And if not, I think I'll just end up paying resale. I've just not been able to get these, and I really, really wanted them all year. I've not been able to get them. And it just obviously with the passing of him in 2020, January 2020, it just changed the game for his sneakers. And, and if you even heard that this just came out over break, like he was contemplating making his own sneaker brand that was like player owned, Mamba, right? Mamba sneakers. That just came out. So like so many things this dude was trying to do. It's just crazy knowing that happened, and now like how elevated all of his sneaker releases are now. It's just nuts. Just can't get them. But those Grinches look so good. So good. If I was able to get them, that would have been my sneaker for the year. We'll see. Resale is really high for me. And that's like at the ceiling for what I'm willing to pay for sneakers. But I might end up doing it. We'll see. We'll see what happens for the year. Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG. I already know I'm going to get some J's. The ones that I'm looking at right now are the University Blues. If I don't get the University Blues, I'm going to go for the Hyper Royales. If I don't get those, we will see. There's a couple other ones that I like for the year. Current resale on the University Blues is really high. Obviously, it's not released yet. It comes out February 20th. You guys can see there. The Hyper Royales are scheduled for, I want to say April-ish. Sounds about right. Or May. I want to say it's April. Spring. We're going to say spring. That's what I have right there. I don't know. There's smoke grays, 2.0s, shadows. I don't know, or the shadows, not smoke grays. The shadows 2.0 is supposed to be here soon. There's just a bunch of stuff, right? So those are ones. Then we got the cool grays. There's only, if you guys remember, I just like avoid 11s. There's only been 2 11s that I've ever liked, ever. And the only reason I got the Jubilees is because of the year. Stated that last time, but it's the cap and gowns in 2018 and the cool grays, which I think the last release was in 2010. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think it was in 2010. And these are some that my older brother had. Now, my older brother is a way bigger sneakerhead than I am. And I remember seeing when he got those, and I was like, man, those look so damn good. I just want those. New Balance 550s. The collab in September, October. I don't remember when that was. With the Aim Leon Dior. Those were fire. I was surprised. And 550s weren't really New Balances. I maybe have had one pair my entire life. I was surprised. And so now they're on my radar. I will see. I haven't there's supposed to be a dozen new colorways in 2021. So this year we're going to see a dozen. I've looked at the ones that are supposed to come out. Didn't like any of them. So maybe there'll be another collab. Maybe I'll look at the 550 collab with AIM. I don't know though. Those are a little bit higher than I would pay for some New Balances, but they look pretty sweet. I put these white ones here because they're probably my favorite ones. Just like this light gray, white 550. I just don't know. I have a lot of whites that I'm getting. Blazers. The picture that you guys see right here of these Blazers is a pair that I actually made. They should be here any day now. But it's the same color palette that I wanted, but I couldn't get them. I couldn't get these anywhere for resale. Every single place that I went, they didn't have them, or they were too high in price, and I'm not going to pay that much for some Blazers. So this year in Blazers, I plan to get any collabs that come out that look good. I'm probably going to get, whether it be a low or a mid. I'm thinking about getting Off-White is supposed to have a Blazer collab. I want to say in the summer, so we'll see about that. But those are the ones that I made. They're just white. They're just plain whites. I wanted like sail white Blazers. I just could not get them. I get them. Yeezys. I'm not high on Yeezy this year. I was higher on them at the beginning of 2020, and ultimately only got the Onyxes. I didn't get anything else. If you want to count the Aliens, which came out like December 2019, you can kind of count that as a 2020. But I only got the 380 Onyx. I didn't get any other Yeezys. None of the drops have been ones that have been like, oh, I gotta have that. The closest might have been like the Zion, but I I don't know. Anyway, so the 750 prototypes, the new ones have reportedly coming out. This is from Yeezy Mafia, very reliable, obviously. If the 750s drop, I will get some Yeezys this year. I've been looking at the Sapphires. If 380s have a nice colorway, maybe, but this is the one that I've been looking at the most. So we'll see about that. And the last two here, Adidas Forum 84. I saw those. I went for them. Couldn't get them. I think based off of, this is the OGs. I think based off of the success of this release on the confirmed app, Adidas will probably make another one. We will see. Make another one. Release more colorways of this OG. We will see. I don't know. I'm hoping. And the resale for these isn't bad at all. They were what, 120? I'm not going to pay, was it double? More than double? It's like 240, I think, for 12 resale for those. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to. And then last thing, this is on my list last year, sneaker boot. This is the Gore-Tex sneaker boot that I've had in my cart 2 or 3 times. And every time I go to checkout, I'm like, nah, I don't actually want this. Nah, I need something a little bit spicier than that. I'm not going to get that. So maybe this year will be a year that I see some sneaker boots that I'm like, oh, I got to have those. And I go out and get them. I don't know, though. We'll see. Maybe it'll be 2022. But I don't know what it is about the sneaker boots. Every winter, I always want sneaker boots. And then when it comes down to it, the ones that I want, I never get. And then Nike always releases some subpar one that it's like, maybe I'll get that. And then I don't end up getting it. So this has been the last, 3 years running now. And the last 2 years, this is, again, the second time I've published this list publicly that I've been like, I'm not going to buy the ones that they got. So that's pretty much it. If any of these are on your list, let me know. There's probably some other collabs that'll come out that I'll be like, oh, gotta have it, or some unannounced thing that'll come out September, October, November, December next year, holiday time, when they start releasing like crazy, that I'll get. I don't think I'm gonna get very many Jordan 1s. I've never really been like the dude that gets 18 different types of Jordan 1s. I get a couple, there's like some breads. I got the mochas, which I really enjoyed. I actually got the satin Gym Reds at the beginning of 2020. I'm kind of like on those now after I don't know. They're just okay. I'd just rather just have some breads, I think. just wear those. But I really even wear those now. So I don't know. We'll see about what comes out with the AJ1s that I'm going to get this year. Maybe some collabs. I think the only thing I've really been interested in are collabs, and it's just so hard to get those. And then once resale and they hit resale market, it's just like the price goes ridiculous. So I don't know. Resellers are kind of making it not fun as fun for me. But there's some other stuff that I think that I'll be able to get. I'm almost positive that my wife will get me some Ultra Boost. She got me Ultra Boost this past year, and I think she got me Ultra Boost the year before. So I'll get some Ultra Boost as a de facto. Maybe I can, you know what? She won't even go for any type of J. She's straight up, I'm gonna get you some Ultra. Those are just easy to get now, easy to cop. So that's my secret list. Let me know what's on yours. I feel like a lot of folks are gonna have the AJ11, those cool grays. I'm assuming a lot of folks are gonna go for those university blues. After that, I don't really know what you're gonna go for. I'm assuming some folks, if you're Yeezy fans, you'll go for those 750s. I'm hoping like you're kind of tired of the 350 re-release of the same colorway thing that's going on. Like I'm so sick of it. I can't take it anymore, which is why I refuse to buy another 350. Like it has to be such a bomb colorway that I'm just like, oh, I gotta have it. That's just not been the case. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it, and until the next time, folks, I'll catch you all later. Peace.